Support printing Qur'ans for non-Muslims. Just £1 per copy. Contribute now for endless rewards. Link in the description. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Today I'm going to be reacting to a clip that's gone viral on X, formerly known as Twitter, featuring Mehdi Hasan. We're going to watch it together.
This room and to Douglas and Natasha, the International Criminal Court.
Okay, so it's time to speak from the get-go, and you can hear somebody trying to speak over him. So when you're in a debate, certain people, they get pressurized by the opponent who's speaking over them, who's throwing red herrings. It's to divert your attention. They fear the point that you're about to make. They fear you. Just going to rewind it slightly because he's giving us some integral names, and this is important because anytime the pro-Palestinians bring up certain statistics, we're told, oh, those are Hamas numbers. But then when they start quoting, they start giving us Israeli numbers, war criminal numbers.
This room and to Douglas and Natasha, the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice, the UNHCR, UNICEF, Doctors Without Borders, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Oxfam, Christian Aid. Yep, you're booing. What does it come to when you're booing Oxfam? What does that tell you about yourselves?
Wow, this is so important. He's given objective organizations that are not linked with the H word. That's fantastic. He's just rattled them off like they're nothing. And also he makes a very important point. And this was a point made by a Israeli ex-Zionist lady that I met at Speaker's Corner, and she said as well, this was one of the things that really bothered her. When defenders of Israel would speak, they would blanketly disregard international organizations that did not have links with Palestine. It was as if she was saying that everybody is made to seem against us and we are shown as the victims.
Sitting here booing Oxfam to defend Benjamin Netanyahu. Let me just deal with something you just said. You talked about debunking propaganda. First of all, you can't even get Israeli propaganda straight. The Israeli government's own security agency, Shin Bet, investigated what you just said and said, no, we found no evidence that workers from Gaza were involved in the October 7th attack. Oh, Shin Bet alive. They're booing Shin Bet, the Israeli security service.
This is very important. I think this is a smoking gun. The Israeli security service, Shin Bet. Any Israeli person knows how vital they are and what an important resource and what an important source rather they are. But they are just booing them like, yeah. Netanyahu himself said that he's punching octopuses. Yeah, we've got video evidences of him doing it. Could be deep fake. Yeah, but it's multiple camera angles. It could be anyone. Yeah, but you can see the IDs as well. Yeah, but anyone could have printed them out. No, but it was very... Do you see? Like, these people are trying to disregard. It doesn't matter who it is. They're trying to disregard everybody. And they think we're stupid.
All right, let me finish my point. You had a 5-minute speech from your side. Okay. That's Shin Bet. Let me just deal with your wider point here. Douglas and Natasha tonight want to make this entire debate about October 7th. I get it. It's a horror show. But that's not the debate. The debate was about Zionism, and it tells you a lot that they can't find any arguments to say, as Gideon says, why we can't be allowed to criticize a political ideology that is 150 years old, that many Jewish people have criticized from the beginning and continue to do so. They can't tell you why that is.
In fact, I found this little clipping even on Al Jazeera as well, where Israelis are calling their own people that are protesting against the government as the H word. This has just become a joke now. It's ridiculous. And this is the point that he's making. You're talking about free speech, and and here is a government that you're not allowed to criticize without being called as anti-Semites. And you've got somebody called Douglas Murray there on the side. What a joke. I used to see his books on shelves in W.H. Smith. He doesn't get more mainstream than that. But when you hear the rhetoric that he's saying, what a vile individual he is.
They focus on October the 7th, which is fine. But if you're going to focus on October 7th, then also focus on what happened since October the 7th. The erasure of Palestinians in this debate, the booing when Gideon mentions what happened to Palestinians. Shameful. I'm sorry.
Gideon is, I think he used to write for Haaretz, the left-leaning newspaper of Israel. And he was talking about himself being a Zionist as well.
To say it's absolutely shameful and telling about what's going on. And I would say this, if we're going to talk about October 7th and what happened since, everyone's a liar. The Hamas health ministry is like, everyone's a liar. Okay, Friend of mine, American doctor, goes to Gaza. Many doctors have gone to Gaza. You've seen them on the news. They're all liars, all Hamas apparently. Friend of mine went to Gaza. He's been
Exactly, and it's very telling that Mehdi is saying this point, because he had this old interview with one of the officials of Israel, and literally the guy was blaming it on the H word as much as he could, to a degree that Mehdi said, "Is it always just H?" And he goes, "Yes."
Sudan. He doesn't just use it for whataboutism like Douglas. He's been to Sudan. He's been to Afghanistan. He's worked there. He came back from Gaza and said, "I've never seen atrocities like I've seen here." What's happened to children? He's an anti-Semite because he saw children with burn wounds like he's never seen. He saw children with gunshot wounds.
This has just become beyond a joke. Even during a debate, a person he's not met, he's a doctor, and he's being labelled as an anti-Semite. Mate, I'm surprised that the dog outside trying to dig a hole and bury his bone hasn't been called an anti-Semite yet.
Wounds to the head, but that's Hamas's fault. Everything is Hamas's fault. So let's talk about war crimes. It is amazing that every human rights group in the world, including Israeli human rights groups like B'Tselem, Gisha, Yeshdin, are all documenting this stuff, but you guys think it's all imaginary. So again, it tells you about what Zionism is. This is not about some abstract ideology of, people trying to settle the land and trying to have it. But as Gideon said, there was an argument to be had in the 1940s, 30s, 20s. Zionism today is what the Palestinians are enduring on a daily, nightly basis in Gaza, in the West Bank, in East Jerusalem, in Israel itself. And the erasure of that tells you everything about why we need to be able to talk about what Zionism does to the Palestinians without being smeared as anti-Semites. Okay.
That was brilliant. Yeah, and he is normally, when it comes to these sorts of encounters, brilliant, and he's brought up some very fantastic topics and points that we've heard over and over and over again, which is blaming the H group when we know there is no H group in the West Bank. And if you just do a Google search, you will see the amount of people, hundreds have been ended in the West Bank. But what can you say? What can you say when facts are being labeled as anti-Semitic, and people uttering the facts, of course, the anti-Semites as well? You can't question a government whilst these people are the same people. In a second breath, they will be talking about free speech, but they will allow Israel to have a free pass when it comes to labeling and smearing anyone that criticizes their government, that criticizes them, wiping out a group of people. Because anyone can go online, anyone can go on X, and you guys can see the video clips yourself. Because this is an evidence that they bring against us as well when it comes to October the 7th. They say, oh, we have testimonies of the people. We've got testimony of the people of Gaza. But apparently even the young kids there, they're labeled as H as well. We know at least half of the population that have been ended are women and children. And that's a very conservative figure. But yet they still want to beat us over the head with the H word. And there are people, Brits, Americans that watch this and go, how can you be okay with people that are literally taking your values and sacrificing them in front of you like it's Eid al-Adha? Taking the mick out of free speech. They've taken the mick out of international law. They've taken the mick out of you and your political systems by hijacking your politicians. I discussed this in the previous video. When it comes to lobbying, when it comes to selecting certain officials, I mean, you've got Labour, Friends of Israel, Conservative, Friends of Israel, Lib Dem, Friends of Israel. You've got people like Gary Lubner given 4.2 million to Labour politicians. Trevor Chin funding. Let's be honest, the next government seems like it's going to be Labour. So how are you guys okay with this? And then you've got these knuckle dragging chimps going around saying, it's the Muslims, they're taking over. Mate, we can't even get our own politicians to side with Palestine. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Going to our mosques and preaching our religion? With all due respect, like, that has its place, but politically, look at the scores of Muslim nations that have been silent when it comes to doing anything practical when it comes to the Palestinians. Now with the whole Israel-Palestine thing, you can see just with a quick search about how ingrained these Zionists are within your political establishment, within your ruling elites, when it comes to even your entertainment industries. But no, You want to go with, a guy called Bilal because he wants to pray at work. Oh yeah, this guy a flipping egg, he's taking over. Or you got a couple of lights on Oxford Street in Ramadan. Oh my God, these people. Next thing we know, the news are gonna be said in Arabic. Are you gonna be saying the Arabic national anthem and following the Arabic religion, doing Arabic things? What a joke. That's all I can say. Yeah. And now Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, they are capitalizing on these same dead stereotypes that honestly a person with an IQ of more than 1 can see, but still people are falling for this trap. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.